This video is about learning how to factor. You will be asked to factor an equation so that you can get it from standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c, and turn it into factored form, which looks like x plus or minus a number and x plus or minus another number. So, the rule of factoring that you need to know is you need to find multiples of c that add to become b. Now that may sound a little confusing right now, but as soon as you see an actual problem, I think it will get easier. So just focus on multiples of c that add up to become b. So let's see an actual equation. Let's say we have x squared plus 5x minus 6. Well, we know that a equals 1 because it's the number that comes before x squared. B equals 5 because it's the number that comes before x. And c equals negative 6 because it's the number that comes last on its own. So we want to find multiples of c that when added together give us a 5. So multiples of negative 6 that when added together give us a 5. So let's think of the multiples of negative 6. We have a negative 6 and 1, 6 and negative 1, 2 and negative 3, negative 2 and 3. So let's go through each of these to see which ones are going to give us our correct answer. Negative 6 plus 1 equals negative 5. So that one is not going to work. 6 minus 1 is 5. So that's most likely our correct answer, but let's check our others just in case. 2 minus 3 gives us a negative 1, so that won't work. And negative 2 plus 3 is a 1, so that doesn't work. So we know that our only answer is 6 and negative 1. So we are going to factor that down into factored form, which is also called intercept form. And our answers will be x plus a 6, because we had a positive 6, and x minus a 1, because we had a negative 1. Now, it might be hard to trust that this is your answer, and so we're going to go through and solve it by FOILing to prove that when you multiply x plus 6 by x minus 1, you will end up with a standard form equation of x squared plus 5x minus 6. So now I'm going to FOIL this equation. So let's multiply my first term by my first term, which gives me an x squared. My outside term by my outside term, which gives me a negative x. My inside term by the inside term, which gives me a positive 6x. And my last term by my last term, which gives me a negative 6. And now we need to combine like terms so that we can get it in its most simplified form, which is standard form. We have x squared by itself because it doesn't have any like terms. And then we can combine negative x and 6x to give us a 5x. And then we're left with negative 6. So we did indeed factor the equation properly and end up with our original equation. So we know that our factored form is x plus 6 times x minus 1. Now keep listening to the video if you would like to know how to find the solution to this factored form equation, also known as the zeros or the roots. So for our factored form equation is x plus 6 and x minus 1. And we want to find the zeros. Well, we want to find the value of x that makes the inside of the parentheses equal to 0. So this one should be pretty easy. What number plus 6 equals 0? I hope that you guessed -6. Hey, the next one, so our first 0 is -6. Our second one is what number minus 1 equals 0? And that one should be another obvious one. And hopefully you know that that is 1. So my second 0 is 1. So if on a test you're asked to find the zeros for this factored form equation, your answers would be -6 and 1. Which means that it crosses your graph crosses the x-axis at 2 places. Excuse me, I meant yep, I was correct. -6 and 1. So that means your graph crosses right here at -6 and over here at 1. We know it's concave up, so it's going to look something like that. And this is how you find the zeros to a factored form equation.